We still have to turn the corner, which is going out there and proving it on Sunday. So I think we're right in that area there now that I'm hoping that we're dangerous because of it, and I hope that we realize sooner rather than later how
Yeah,
good we can be. And then you never know. I mean, once you get that little bit of boost of confidence and
yeah,
guys are playing without thinking about a lot and they're just going out there and playing football and they're being physical,
yeah.
that's when it really comes together.
So I don't know how to feel about this. Dwayne Brown has missed practice for the second day in a row. And now we're hearing that potentially the reason why he's missing practice is because his shoulder is a concern and he's going to go ahead and seek some medical treatment or a second assessment or whatever the case might be. Um, this puts our offensive line in a very questionable state, right? We went from having potentially a top five, top 10 offensive line to a question mark at offensive line. I don't know what this means. So what do we do? What are the solutions? Well, the options behind Dwayne Brown would be Connor McDermott and potentially Max Mitchell. And I'm sorry, I just don't think at left tackle we want to go ahead and test either one of those options out in one of the most intricate positions on the offensive line, protecting the blind side of the quarterback. So here's an idea. So George Fant, we know played really well last year on the left side of the offensive line. He's our right tackle now. We move him back to the left side where he excelled at last year, and we put in Max Mitchell. I think we put Max Mitchell in at right tackle. Connor McDermott has kind of given us an idea of exactly what he is in this game. I don't think any of us here have all the warm and fuzzies about him potentially being the right tackle for this roster. But ultimately, it behooves us to see what what Max Mitchell brings to the table. He was a fourth round draft pick. Again, a technically sound individual. I know we've talked about him having to work on his strength in order to go ahead and play at the NFL level. The right tackle position is a spot where I think we should feel comfortable with him testing that out. So I don't I don't know what the answer is, but I do know this. It doesn't change a thing. I think that even with a top 15 offensive line, we are in a much better position to improve on our win percentage than we were last year. I think Joe Flacco is able to get the ball out of his hands fast enough to where that really can't be an issue. Again, remember, this offensive scheme is based off of quick releases. It's about quick time routes to go ahead and get the ball into the hands of the wide receiver, the tight end, the running back. So even if we had to move Fant to the left side, and we put Max Mitchell, the rookie, at the right side, and he can't hold a block to save his life, we're talking about the potential edge rusher or defensive tackle, interior defensive tackle coming in line in sight with the quarterback. So we're in a position to where Joe Flacco, having a high IQ and experience in this game, can still make that work. It's not the end of the world. I know it's still concerning. I know it's still frustrating for this to even have to be a conversation. But when you think of it logically and you incorporate the options we have, like there's nothing to be taken away from the fact that we've added significant. Lakin Tomlinson as a left guard increased significantly the potency of our O line. Yes, left tackle, most important position potentially on that offensive line. But I would argue that the offensive line in general, it's all about gelling. It's all about continuity. It's all about, what I'm saying, like precision and timing. And we don't need the right tackle to hold on blocks forever and a day. We just need for them to hold long enough for Joe Flacco to get the ball into playmakers' hands. And the average time frame in this particular offense that we're looking to get the ball out of the quarterback's hands is 2.5 seconds. 2.5 seconds. That's not out of the realm of possibility that Max Mitchell can give us that against on the right side of the line. I've already seen tweets coming out where people were like, "Oh my god, we should have drafted an offensive tackle," and blah 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 blah. Now, I think that's crap. I think that's crap. I think our draft still is one of the best drafts we've probably ever had as an organization, and definitely a top two, top three maximum from this past draft. There's no way I would trade out the players we got that are going to be impactful players in a Sauce Gardner, in a Garrett Wilson, in a Jermaine Johnson, Brees Hall, freaking Max Mitchell, and of course Michael Clemens with an offensive tackle. Potentially that would have been in the second round, because in the first round, I don't see anything we could have done differently. And for those that think that Sauce Gardner shouldn't have been the pick and we should have gone with Evan Neal or freaking in the what's his name? Anyway, an offensive tackle prospect, I disagree, man. I really disagree. I think the Jets nailed this this draft. At the time of drafting, we also did not know that Mekhi Becton was going to go down again. And we did not know or realize that when we brought in his replacement, that person would potentially be in jeopardy of playing ball. Don't overreact. Relax. Relax. Listen, this is an exciting time. Football officially is back as of tonight. We'll have the Buffalo Bills versus the Rams, which what I believe should have been the Super Bowl last year. The Buffalo Bills being probably the best roster in the entire NFL. Losing to Kansas City last year over a coin flip. Ugh, I digress. It's still frustrating, but it's one of those things where I had somebody not reach out to me, but I was actually making some comments on Paul Boyd Green's video in regards to the Ravens versus the Jets. And there was an individual, I won't put his name out there because I don't know how comfortable he would be, but he and I kind of went back and forth in the comments. He's a Ravens fan. I'm a Jets fan. But he spoke, you know what I'm saying, proudly, confidently about the grit, you know what I'm saying, that the Baltimore Ravens bring to the table. I just I just don't see a situation where we go into this game on Sunday and it's not competitive. And if it's not competitive, the only thing that I can think of is that our coaching staff truly isn't prepared for this challenge and or ability to compete. I still believe the New York Jets win this game 28-21. I do. I think that we put George Fant on the left side. He's the left tackle on this game. On the right side, we put in the rookie Max Mitchell. Let's see what we have. We have no idea what we have in terms of a Max Mitchell. You know how many freaking undrafted free agents, like Jason Peters, in case y'all weren't aware, was an undrafted free agent tackle that is literally a first ballot Hall of Famer. And I think he just got picked up by the Dallas Cowboys at 40 years old because he's such an efficient and elite. Well, I'm not going to say elite. He used to be an elite tackle in the NFL. Jason Peters, undrafted free agent. So we really have no idea what we have in Max Mitchell. And for us to jump the gun and just assume the worst case scenario, I think it's a little bit premature. It's premature. So Duane Brown, with what we're hearing today, is most likely not going to play on Sunday. And if he is playing on Sunday, he's not going to be 100%, which leads one to believe, like, are we comfortable going into week one with a 80% Duane Brown, 75% Duane Brown? What are we getting? It's not as if the Baltimore Ravens defensive line is anything that's terrifying. I mean, across that defensive line, it's nothing but aged individuals. Um, they're not known for getting into the backfield and of course creating havoc at the quarterback. They're great run stoppers, but again, age at some point catches up with everybody, and it's an old defensive line. So I think if we were going to go ahead and test Max Mitchell's grit, you know what I'm saying, his ability to go ahead and get into the game and elevate his game and his status, I think we would want to see it now, right? Because like the individual I was talking to talked about is the Baltimore Ravens are one of the grittiest teams, probably in the NFL. And I'm not saying we need to match that level, but I do believe we need to go ahead and elevate ourselves and show our grit. Like we've got some dogs now on this roster, and whenever I hear somebody says that they're going to be tougher or grittier or whatever, I kind of smile about it because, like, you know what, the Jets of the past, I couldn't have an argument to save my life, but now we've got some legitimate dogs. And Robert Saleh alluded to this yesterday in a press conference when he was asked, like, listen, How do you plan on beating a team that's just so freaking physical, right? Like, and he said, and I quote, uh, we're physical too. That's how. We're physical too. That's how. And I love that response. Love that response from our coach. I think right now, I'm not saying it's time to shoot up the freaking flares, you know what I'm saying, and ask for an evac because we're not in that position yet. I think we need to go ahead and see what's going to happen on Sunday. We need to see how this team elevates and plays because again, there's so much talent across the board. We're going into the second year in this scheme, offensively and defensively. Again, people, there's so much value there. I think our defense is going to be a freaking top five, top 10 defense. People think I'm crazy when I say that, but I think this the skill players that we brought to the table that we have on this roster were made to be 100% vicious and in attack mode. They get to do that. On the back end, we've got some guys who can actually cover. This defense doesn't have glaring holes. As much as we want to go ahead and sit there like, oh my God, the safeties, I'm worried about that, and blah, blah, blah. We don't have any glaring holes. Like, not every defense is littered with Pro Bowl players. That's not how it works. Every defense is gonna have just the just what was that term? Another a jag, right? Every defense, every offense is going to have a jag on it, and jag stands for just another guy. Compliments to Jets X Factor, aka Joe Blewett, for that acronym. But there's jags all over an NFL roster. For all of us who are freaking out about the safety position, where we have guys like Whitehead who is going to secure and levitate that position from what it was last year, we can allow ourselves to have some jags in the safety room. Our cornerback room got dogs in it. Our linebacker room, with the addition of Quan Alexander, got some dogs in it. Our defensive line, are we serious? Dogs across the board. So for us to be worried and freaking out because we don't have a freaking Pro Bowl free safety, you got to have some jags across the board. And I say that also saying that I believe Tony Adams has the ability to surprise a lot of us as to what he brings to the table. His versatility, his athleticism, his game IQ, I'm sorry, his ability to adapt are all high. The guy has a level of burst and ability to go ahead and attack the ball, which was very, very impressive. Now, whether or not he can put it all together mentally is going to be what we need to see on the field. But I feel pretty good about Tony Adams too. Like, we're not in a position right now to where we can look at our defense and really be concerned. I'm dead serious. We just have too much talent, and of course now JFM being moved to the interior, Vice being an edge player, he had to do the edge game last year basically because we had no choice. We had lost our edge players, our defensive ends that he had to bump outside. But I think he's custom made to go ahead and be on the other side of Quentin Williams in the interior of the defensive line and wreak havoc across quarterbacks, freaking running backs. It don't matter. Like, I think we're still in a good shape. 28-21, we're still going to win that game. I'm not tripping about that. You shouldn't either. Is it concerning? Because, again, a top 5 offensive line sounds way better than a top 15. 100%. But in all actuality, we've made moves to fortify that offensive line. Um, Duane Brown, hopefully, it's nothing crazy or nothing major, and he's not out for an extended period of time. Maybe it's just some soreness or getting back into game shit, whatever, right? But hopefully, it takes a couple of weeks, and then he's back out there gelling with that offensive line. But in the interim, we go with George Fan on the left side. We're secure across the way. On the right side, we bring in Max Mitchell. I want to see what this kid is about. Maybe he surprises us. Maybe he's the kind of player that elevates his game on game days. So just wanted to share the thoughts with that, man. Like, it's we're still in a good spot. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're still in a good spot. Be excited, man. Be excited. Jets fans, it's been a long time since I've had this level of excitement for our roster because I truly believe we're building and have created something that's going to demand respect. And I don't know, I did a whole thing where I realized that I was trying to change the minds of so many Jets fans. And then I realized that I needed to chill because there's a difference between Jets fans and Jets spectators, right? A lot of individuals are Jets spectators, right? The literally the book definition of what a fanatic is somebody who has a ton of zeal and enthusiasm about watching or experiencing something. Whereas a Jets spectator is somebody who watches or sees something. right? Like, big difference in terms of the two types of individuals. And I've been saying optimistic Jets fan, vice pessimistic Jets fan, but I'm doing a disservice to the term fans because that's just not the case. And again, there is nothing wrong being a spectator. I want to make sure I put that out there. I'm probably going to do a video about this to kind of break it down with more detail. So I'll leave it at that. But there is a difference between Jets fans and Jets spectators. So I'm a Jets fan. Like, and I can't help but look at this team with nothing but enthusiasm. And even if they let me down, they let me down, right? Like, that happens throughout life. You get let down all the time in life. It's just a part of life. But to not be excited about the positive that we've seen throughout this offseason and to see the trajectory in which this team is trying to get to, it's just you can't call yourself a fan. You're just a spectator. So that's it for me today, man. It's getting close. It's Thursday. We're really a few more days away to actual game time. So this has been your New York Jets situation report debrief on the Duane Brown situation. So yeah, I'll catch you guys next time.